I, 28M, have been married to my wife, 27F, for 2 years, and we've been together for 4. A little over a year ago, we had our first child, which should have been a joyful milestone in our lives. But instead of bringing us closer, it felt like everything started falling apart. Since giving birth, my wife became someone I barely recognized. She was constantly irritable, snapping at me over the smallest things. Every little issue turned into my fault, no matter how irrational it seemed. Complaints became her way of communicating. Nothing I did was ever good enough. I work full time to provide for our family while she stays home with the baby, her choice. But she stopped contributing to anything beyond holding our son all day and scrolling through her phone. At first, I tried to be understanding. I figured adjusting to motherhood was overwhelming, and I gave her time and space. But as months passed, nothing improved. Instead, things got worse. I ended up taking on almost every household responsibility, cleaning, cooking, laundry, on top of my job. I was exhausted, both physically and emotionally. And no matter how much I did, I was always painted as the bad guy. If I asked for a little help, I was being insensitive. If I tried to talk about our lack of intimacy, which I didn't even bring up until months after the birth, she lashed out at me, saying I only cared about my own needs. Meanwhile, my needs, emotional, physical, and mental, were completely ignored. Every attempt to communicate was met with anger or stonewalling. It felt like I was walking on eggshells in my own home, just trying to avoid another explosion. I suggested therapy multiple times, hoping we could work through whatever was going on. I wasn't expecting an overnight change, but I needed some effort on her part. She refused every single time, insisting that I was the problem. It felt like I was just her emotional punching bag. The more I tried, the more resentment built inside me. I hated our marriage. I hated what my life had become. But I was scared. Scared of what divorce would mean. Scared of what it would do to our child. Scared of the judgment that might come from people who don't know the full story. A small part of me kept hoping that maybe, just maybe, things would change. Then last month, everything came to a breaking point. My wife told me she was going out to a bar with her friends. She came home at 4 a.m., completely drunk. Something in my gut told me to check her phone while she was passed out. And I did. That's when I found texts between her and some random guy, messages that made it pretty clear she had spent the night with him in a hotel room. The moment I saw them, I felt something unexpected. Relief. I no longer had to wrestle with my guilt or second guess whether I was making the right choice. The decision had been made for me. The first thing I did was take a paternity test. I needed to know for sure that my son was mine. When the results came back confirming he was, I wasted no time. I sat my wife down and told her that I knew about her infidelity and that our marriage was over. She broke down immediately, crying, begging, making every excuse imaginable. She blamed postpartum depression, past trauma, the alcohol, anything she could think of. She swore she would change, that she would do anything to fix things. She said she didn't want to lose our family. But I had already been lost in this marriage for over a year, and I wasn't about to stay trapped in it any longer. The infidelity was just the final nail in the coffin. We're still living under the same roof for now, but I've made it clear that reconciliation is not on the table. She continues to plead with me, promising the world, but I no longer believe in those promises. I told her she's no longer allowed to speak to me outside of things related to our child. My focus now is on moving forward and creating a better future for myself and my son. After sharing my story, I received a wide range of responses from people with different perspectives. Many offered support, while others shared advice based on personal experience. Here are some of the most thought-provoking comments. 1. NTA. This is from a woman's perspective. The emotional mistreatment and refusal of therapy would have been enough to justify leaving. She may have been struggling with PPD, but it was her responsibility to seek help. No one deserves to be an emotional punching bag, no matter what someone is going through. I live with a serious mental health condition, but I still take responsibility for how I treat those around me. She refused therapy and possible treatment. That's on her, not you. Yes, mental health struggles can impact behavior, but they don't justify cheating. Even if she was feeling disconnected, she made the choice to step out of the marriage. She wasn't intoxicated before she decided to drink, and she was aware enough to make a series of choices that led to betrayal. Now that she's facing the consequences, she wants to fix things, but she had plenty of chances before it got to this point. 3. You need to focus on protecting yourself legally. Get solid proof of her infidelity, consult a lawyer, and don't give her too much time to plan her next move. I've seen too many situations where the unfaithful partner suddenly becomes vindictive once they realize their apologies aren't working. Stay calm, be civil, but don't let your guard down. As a father, you want to ensure you get fair custody arrangements and don't end up blindsided. 4. A friend of mine went through something similar decades ago. He proceeded with the divorce, got shared custody, and focused on building a strong relationship with his child. It was tough, but he made it through and later had a great life. The most important thing is to think long-term and make choices that will benefit both you and your child in the future. 5. One hard truth. She refused to be intimate with you for a year, but had no problem being with a stranger? That's not something most spouses can forgive or come back from. You need a good lawyer, 50% custody, and in time, you'll find someone loyal and faithful who treats you the way you deserve. This situation is difficult, but in the end, I know I need to prioritize my well-being and my future. What do you think? Would you have made the same decision, or do you believe in second chances? Let me know in the comments. If you found this story interesting or helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more real-life stories and discussions. And as always, take care of yourselves and those you love. I'll see you in the next one.